Okay, here we are again in week 7, and this is the presentation on preparation. Again, that not so sophisticated word meaning launch your business now. Now let's figure out a plan for how to do it. That's what we're going to be working on here. So we're going to start preparation, so let's get right on into it. So as a reminder, finally, we're out of step 4, we're on to step 5. We've spent 3 weeks in step 4. I'm sure you enjoyed every minute of it. But now we're on to step 5, the launch plan. This is the actual startup of your business and all of the things you've got to do to be ready for it. So I kind of think of this launch phase as preparing a rocket to launch it to the moon. So here you have your business, your rocket, sitting on the launch pad. The astronauts are in the gantry on their way up to get into the cockpit of this thing. All of the technicians back in the bunker are looking at their computer screens and making sure all of the final arrangements are put in place and everything is working and A-OK, as they kind of say now and then. Such that when we push the button, this baby will light up like a candle and take these astronauts into orbit and on their way to the moon. So let's go back into that bunker, and for launching of your business, let's look at what the heck it is that they're working on. Of course, you're the bunker. Probably there's no one else, but you can follow the analogy here, I guess. So you're finalizing your business plan. It's darn near finished, and you're convinced that you're going to go forward with this thing. Your evaluation plan is completed. Your management team is established. Your financing plan is probably well underway and hopefully near completion. Customer support plan is in place. Your supply plan players are greased up and running, and you have contracts with them all. Marketing and sales plan has been created and tested, and you got most of the components in place, ready to launch the business over the internet. Your administration plan is completed, and you're ready for the launch event, a big party that says, aha, we're here, making everybody aware that you exist and ready to sell them something. So let's go through each one of these. So with respect to your business plan, we've talked about this before. All your sections are complete. We've been working on this since step 2 of this program. You've done the proof of concept. Your marketing and sales plans have been worked out. The supply chain plan has been worked out. Your financial analysis is complete, and all of the sections of the business plan are done. Now you've read it, you reviewed it with others and other experts and the rest of your management team, and you have decided, okay, are we really going to do this or not? Go, no go, just like the rocket example. Are we go? And asking everybody, are we go? And if there's a no-go, we got to do something about it. But assuming it's a go, let's move on to what's got to happen next. So we had talked about various forms of evaluation back in the evaluation step, step 3. The first 2 forms of evaluation are way behind you. Now we want to make sure that this final form of evaluation has been completed, and successfully so. That's your beta testing. That is the early and controlled release of your product or service, and done in such a way that you're really performing the service you've got, or you're really selling the product you've got. So you got real customers under this controlled situation. The product and the services are really being utilized. This is not pretend. The supply chain that got you there is operational. The support structure post-sales is in place and working. And a certain number of real customers have experienced it. And your administrative structure is operational as well. Now, once you've completed the beta test, you've updated all the product and services changes that you needed to make based upon the feedback you got in this beta test. And you've got any changes that you thought you had to make to the supply chain, the support structure, your administrative structure, all are updated as well. So you don't really launch, you don't push the red button and launch this rocket unless all of these updates, at least the most important ones, I should say it that way, have been made and updated before you push the button and launch the business. So your product or service and the support structure around it are fully tested by the end of this evaluation. Of course, you've got to have the management team, the right management team in place to run the company during this launch phase and beyond. So certainly there's a chief executive officer or president. Usually it's the founder of the company. And investors and others have determined, or the board of directors has determined that this is the right person to run the company at this phase of the business. Marketing and sales have to be in place. There's got to be people running that. You've developed your service and you've developed your product. That's kind of behind you. The most important thing right now in the launch phase is you're now starting to create real awareness. That's marketing. And you're going to sell something. That's from the qualified leads that you got from marketing. If you're a manufacturing company, you've got to have operations in place as well to manufacture the product and manage the inventory and send the product through distribution, things like that. But the management team itself should have relevant industry experience, management leadership experience, even startup experience. All those are very, very important. In addition, what's really attractive is if the team members have worked with each other before. You said, my goodness, these people are going to do it again together. They must kind of get along. That's a good sign. So the management team has got to be the right set of individuals that are dedicated to getting this product into the marketplace and some good, solid customer sales traction. If you needed to raise money for your business, and many do, launching a business has got some expenses associated with it, that your financing amount has been determined from your financial analysis. We talked about that back in step 4, that this financing strategy you put in place is well underway, whether it's equity or debt, whether you're borrowing money or you're going after investors who are going to buy shares of your company. That's what those two things mean. The sources have been identified. In other words, you got a list, you're working through it, you've gone through the steps of engaging them the right way based upon who they are. And you've got an investor presentation that really is a good, honest, and compelling presentation of why they should invest in your business. It highlights all the great reasons of why you're going to be successful and that they ought to be part of it. I can't stress this enough, and maybe this is the 18th time I've said something like this, but your customer support has got to be there. The worst thing that can happen is that you sell a product or a service and then fumble all over yourself, not being able to support them with their questions and their issues and the 100 things that possibly you didn't think of and didn't come evident even during your beta test program. So your plans have to be in place and proven as best you can for anything having to do with a customization of your product, before it's put into production by a customer, that all aspects of installation of the product are completed, and that you have people to support that, and you can explain it in unconfusing language to your customer, that you know how to perform maintenance and are committing a maintenance and update offering, particularly for software and hardware, that everyone understands the warranty coverage, what it is. You have a process for anybody to return a product in case you're in the consumer product business. And you have online and phone support, but hopefully you've got online support more than phone support. You don't want to be driven nuts by phone calls and chat rooms, helping people and taking up a lot of your people's time answering questions that could just as well be answered through an online service. I'm sorry, I know I've said that before, but it's important. So all the resources are identified and in place to support the customer. That's got to be there. It's part of the fuel in your rocket. The plan that you put in place for your supply chain now has to be in execution. That means all the supply chain participants are identified. You got them by name. You have contractual arrangements with them. Commitments have been made. All of the logistical details have been worked out and are contractually arranged for. So their plans and their schedules under contract for inventory, supplies, components, parts, support personnel, service providers, and the list goes on. That supply chain map that we drew earlier has to be in executable form. So the marketing plan we put in place also has to be in executable form. All of what you're going to do to create the awareness of prospects that you want to turn into qualified leads is in place. When you push the red button, it's going. Your website is full of content. It's been well designed. All of your social media outreach, your online advertising programs, your blogging schedule is already started. You've got several articles already written and one already is there on your website. So all the piece parts of this, quite frankly, elaborate marketing plan that you're going to have, much of which is done online, is in place and working. And you proved it in the beta program. Your evaluation process is in place, the conversion process in place. Remember, those are the three elements of your marketing plan. And you've gone through it already in your beta test. So it's proven. And now you're going to turn up the heat and identify a whole lot more prospects and hopefully convert them to qualified leads through your three-step marketing program. So your sales plan is likewise in place as well. The sales team is there, real people, ready to sell. They're trained already, and there's a sufficient number of them and deployed the right way depending on the sales channel you're using. Pricing has been worked out. It worked out not only with your salespeople but with any sales partners. If you're going through an indirect channel, the discount plan is finalized contractually. Compensation structure is agreed upon. So you have employment agreements with any salespeople that you have on your staff, or if you have independent reps, that's part of your contract with them. So the sales process itself for the channel you want to go through is up and running, ready to go. You've used some of it already to get the beta program going. So all these contracts you have with your sales channel and your direct sales people are all in place. So this part of your engine is up and running, and as soon as you kick off the marketing programs and start producing qualified leads, this part of your machine takes over and converts them to customers. With respect to the administration of your company, you've got to make sure that administratively you are also ready to go. Probably around step 3, creation, when you were pretty sure that your company was actually going to become a real company, you incorporated or should have incorporated. If you haven't, you can do it now. Certainly need to do this before you have any contracts with anyone, but you got to make sure that you're properly incorporated. An attorney should probably help you, and that all of the board resolutions have been made to actually form the company for real. Then that your support personnel policies are in place, perhaps even an employee manual gets developed soon after the company gets launched. That if there are any regulatory requirements that You must meet that you've got the appropriate licenses or approval from government agencies, both local and federal, that your accounting and tax support is in place, so you've got someone taking care of bookkeeping, and at the beginning of the year, someone that can pull together your tax return for your business. That on an ongoing basis, if you have identified legal assistance, you probably have an attorney that helped you incorporate in the first place. So it should be a good, solid corporate attorney, not somebody that does real estate closings or tries felons in court. This is a person who knows how to put together the necessary documentation that supports a business, contracts, whether they be sales or partner agreements. You can handle all the nitty-gritty of personnel issues. So have a good corporate attorney helping you as well. Okay, the fuel is in the rocket. All systems are go. Ready to launch. You push the button. So you're going to have a media event of some kind. You have press releases and social media outreach that announces your company is launching into business, into the marketplace, and wow, look at this. Look at what these guys got. And you get all sorts of coverage, both over social media as well as in the press media as well. And you have an event. It'll be at a place. Have a big party. Presentations are made by the executives of the company, and customer testimonials are given. So materials are handed out to all the attendees at the launch. It has media coverage. So it's a big launch event. It's the culmination of what could be a year to year and a half of work that got you here in the first place. So have fun. But it's also serious. It's a serious event because you want to make the world know, and real fast, that you exist. So that marketing machine starts to engage almost immediately, even while you're having the party. So you're up and running. You whoopee. So let's start making some money after sales. Okay, so we're launched. The rocket is on the way into orbit. So for the next class and for your mentoring session, you're going to discuss your marketing strategy updates and your sales strategy updates and the progress you're making towards the completion of your business plan to be submitted for week 9. And you're going to update your elevator pitch. For the next session, you're going to complete this preparation template, provide it to your mentor as usual, and discuss it in your next mentoring session, as well as update your elevator pitch with your preparation, the results of your preparation template. Okay, that's the end of this module. Now, if you have questions, go ahead and contact your instructor, mentor, and your choices for doing that are, you can email your instructor at innovationcenter@faytech.edu. You can make a call at 910-678-8496. And you can schedule a meeting with your mentor in the virtual office on Blackboard. You can also post a question on Question for My Mentor discussion forum and have others participating in the answer to the question. It's a good way of sharing information amongst participants. But please note that you should not post a question that is divulging confidential information that would open up that confidential information to others to read. So be forewarned there. So that's it. Get your homework done. Look forward to talking to you in the next class.